Hi trainers, I'm Teeds. How's it going? Today we're going to be looking at leaks for Tyranitar's movesets. I am so excited to read through these. However, I would like to make a very important disclaimer. This is a data mine / leak, so things can change until officially released or announced by Pokemon Unite. And this is also not from our usual source, Alchico Eevee or Eclipse_TT. This is from a different source. We have some new data miners popping up, and this was sent from a viewer of mine, but I've cross-checked it to make sure it was actually some info that we could talk about. I have this image as well. It is from this leak, which has all of Buzzwole's and Glaceon's moves. It also has Tyranitar's moves. So with that in mind, I'm going to go into it. For the question of the day, what do you think about Tyranitar based on its moves? I'd love to know in the comments down below. Which movesets will you be picking up? I cannot wait to read what this Pokemon may possibly do. Okay, so let's jump into it. First, we have the passive, and that is Sandstream. It summons a sandstorm around the Pokemon every time it uses an ability, increasing the Pokemon's defense / special defense by 65% and deals damage to nearby Pokemon. That's crazy. So it has a sandstorm every time it uses an ability, every time. And then your defense and special defense is increased by 65%, and you also deal damage around you. That's a very crazy passive. I heard this Pokemon also has another 2 passives. I don't think it says here in this leak, unfortunately, and I don't exactly remember what the other 2 passives were, but I think this Pokemon has like 3 passives total. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I think this is the passive that we have for Tyranitar, like in its final evolution at least. And then we have the starting move, and that seems to be Bite. It deals damage to opposing Pokemon. If the opposing Pokemon's health is below a set percentage when attacked, it becomes stunned. So you would have to try and time your bite. Oh, I guess the most ideal time to use bite is to bite when there are a certain percentage or the threshold, below the threshold, so it becomes stunned, which is really good CC as well. So we have some crowd control going on in Tyranitar early already with bites. And then you can possibly upgrade this move into, I believe it's Dark Pulse. Exhales a mist of darkness in a horizontal sweeping motion, dealing damage to any Pokemon it hits. If hit below a set percentage of health, the enemy Pokemon becomes stunned. Another stun. We're getting a lot of crowd control from Tyranitar and a lot of tankiness from the passive as well. So you're going to be like very crowd control heavy, it seems. It looks like it relies a lot on the Pokemon being like a certain health though, like the enemy. And when you upgrade this move, it reduces the move's cooldown. The next move we have is Ancient Power. Charges power before releasing a shockwave, deals damage to nearby Pokemon and leaves them unable to act for a short time. While charging power, the user's movement speed increases, it gains a shield, it gains resistance. The description cuts off here, so we actually don't know. Oh, I guess from the actual like leaked image, it doesn't say because it cuts off. So we don't know exactly what goes on after that. And it ignores defense and shield effects. That's so interesting. So it will ignore all the Pokemon's defenses and any Pokemon that has shields, which means Blissey's shield is gonna be ignored as well. And when you upgrade this, it strengthens the effect of the shield granted by this move. So this Pokemon sounds very tanky and annoying to go against. I mean, you're already getting all the crowd control in Ancient Power as well. And I wonder how the charging is going to work. You also get increased movement speed, so you can use Ancient Power to like chase enemies or try to get away and such. Maybe the charging power is going to work like Duraludon maybe, how Duraludon charges power, I have no idea. But that sounds really interesting. We're getting a lot of crowd control on this Pokemon, and that scares me because crowd control is like so strong in Pokemon Unite. And you also gain a shield, and you gain resistance to something because it cuts off, I don't know, but it's crazy to me. The next move we have is Rock Polish. Has the user charge ahead in designated direction, dealing damage to any Pokemon it hits. If it hits an opposing Pokemon, the user's attack is increased afterwards for a short time. So Rock Polish, I think, is one of the starting moves, and it is a dash, I think, or a charge ahead. So it looks like a mobility move, and you deal damage to any Pokemon it hits. And then your attack is increased if you don't miss it. I guess my attacks will never be increased. No, I'm kidding, unless. But I'm really excited to see this because I wonder how much the damage buff is going to be. It looks like the early game already has a lot of crowd control and then a buff as well. And you have a mobility, so it's very very interesting to see how the early game's going to be. Then you can possibly upgrade this move into Stone Edge. Deals damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. So we have an area of effect move, which means that it hits Pokemon, like multiple Pokemon in one area, dealing more damage the closer the opposing Pokemon is to the user. This move has multiple charges, and when upgraded, increases the damage dealt by this move. So with Stone Edge, ideally you want to attack them when they're pretty much just like right on you or right next to you, because it will deal more damage the closer they are, and it also has multiple charges. So I wonder, if it has multiple charges, that means you can use it one after the other, or you can use it like all at one time. This is going to be very interesting because you're so tanky already as Tyranitar, and if you do pick up Stone Edge, maybe you could try and go into the middle of the fight and use Stone Edge like around you, like all the charges on you. You want to stay really close and you want to stick onto the enemy while using Stone Edge just to get like all that damage out. The other move you can possibly upgrade into is Sand Tomb. Has the user leap in a single bound, dealing damage to any Pokemon it hits while leaping and stunning them. Another crowd control. When the user lands, it creates a cloud of dust at the point of impact. Description cuts off here, so we don't know what it says after that. What does it say? It's such a cliffhanger. This move also ignores defense and shield effects. We have two moves that ignore defense and shield effects. So what if you had Ancient Power and Sand Tomb, and you're constantly just ignoring defenses and shield? To be fair though, with defense, it doesn't seem to scale that well in Pokemon Unite. Like, I think at the moment, I think health is highly valued over defense. Defense doesn't seem to do like as much as we think it does, or as much as we would like it to. But this game, I would say, is very like health focus heavy for like tanks and Pokemon that want like more survivability. So I don't know how much the defense will do. Maybe for like tanks it'll do more, but if it ignores defense, it probably ignores all like item defenses as well. So if you have someone like that's building an item for the defense part of it, it'll probably ignore that. I'm guessing it would, right? So I love using Blissey's shield. I love it, and Tyranitar seems like it's not going to let me do that, so I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here. When upgraded, it increases the length of time Cloud of Dust remains at the point of impact. Wow, so the Cloud of Dust seems like it will be there for quite, we don't know how long, but it will be there for a little bit at least, and this will make it there longer. It doesn't say what the Cloud of Impact does because it says point of, like the description cuts off here, so we don't exactly know what it does, but there's going to be some sort of debuff, I reckon, that's going to be in the Cloud of Smoke. Maybe like movement speed decrease, maybe it does tick damage. It probably does damage because it ignores defenses and shield effects. So just based on that, I would at least say that this Cloud of Smoke at least deals damage to the enemies that are in this smoke. So I am scared. This Pokemon seems like it will do a lot for team fights as well as having like a lot of defense. It sounds more like a defender to me more than an all-rounder so far-ish, but I don't know. What do you trainers think about this? It definitely is an all-rounder. It's confirmed to be an all-rounder, but I'm so curious. The Unite move. So the Unite move is Tyrannical Rampage. The user rampages, increasing movement speed for a short time. Hindrances return the user back to normal faster. So you want to use your hindrances on this Pokemon to make it return back faster. While rampaging, its basic attack pattern changes, and Pokemon that are hit while having health below a set percentage are immediately KO'd. It has an execute? And executes? No, please. Executes are so... Okay, let me just explain how annoying executes are. You know how Gengar just one-shots you, like, out of nowhere? That's what being executed feels like. Like, you know, there are some Pokemon that just, like, chip away at your health, or you at least have time to react. But with an insta-KO, you can't really do anything. You just have to keep your health as high as possible, or try and be insta KOs, like in Smite at least as well, was so annoying to go against because there was like not much you can do about it, which means you probably want to have Potion to counter Tyranitar is what I'm getting. I feel like Tyrannical Rampage, because it says that hindrances return the user back to normal, that it probably has a timer where it returns back to normal. But if you wanted to get out of that stage even faster, you got to use hindrances to return it faster. It doesn't say if it's not affected by hindrances the same way, like if, you know, if it was like stunned or frozen, it would be frozen. If maybe it might not be affected by hindrances because maybe the effect of hindrances instead will make the Pokemon's Unite move just go down lower, but I have no idea. It's just like what I'm guessing. But from everything I've read so far, Tyranitar seems like a very defendery all-rounder. Seems like it has pretty good damage as well. It has an execute, and you probably want potion. I mean, like, I'm not saying get potion against Tyranitar. Depends how OP Tyranitar is, right? But if you are relying on the enemy being a set percentage below health, so in order to stun with bite, for example, you have to have low health before becoming stunned, you would probably get potion. Or if you have like your Unite move, like against the Tyranitar's Unite move, and you're getting pretty low health, you want to use potion, so you're out of that execute range. Does that make sense? So in Smite, we have these relics that are called like Aegis, and Aegis would like protect you from executes if you use it at the right time. Sometimes beads as well, which is like what full heal is in Pokemon Unite, because some of the characters in that game have to do something to you to execute you, like pull you into the air. And before, back in the day, some players would have like a healing potion, like it's called meditation, but in Pokemon Unite, it's just basically the potion. And what they would do there is, if they wanted to get out of that execute range, they would use potion to get out of that execute range. So depending how low you have to be, you probably want to do it before reaching like close to that threshold. It might give you some time to get rid of Tyranitar, but yeah, I would say this Pokemon just seems very defendery. Seems like it has a lot of damage, or maybe, I don't know about how much damage it has, but because we don't have the scaling on the numbers, but we can say that it seems to be very tanky. It has an execute. An execute! Oh man, that's gonna be annoying to deal with. Okay, so that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, trainers. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Tyranitar's moves. I'd love to know in the comments down below. And I cannot wait to see you for the next one, trainers. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!